It's important to make the right decisions, like when to go for it on fourth down, or when to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown. It's also important to make the right insurance decisions too. That's why my office, Trey McAdams State Farm, is here to help you select the right protection at the right price. Our office will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect when the unexpected happens. With Trey McAdams State Farm, it's easy to make the right call. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Vols.
It's a top 10 matchup when Tennessee arrives in Auburn to take on Bruce Pearl's Tigers. And if crowd noise was a factor against Vanderbilt, Rick Barnes says they're going to need to be a little bit more focused if they want to avoid a similar outcome. Also, his message to Lady Vols Kim Caldwell and her husband Justin as they become new parents. I'm Paige Dower. This is the Field Pass on Full Disclosure. Felix Akpar protecting the rim, Igor Milicic finding his shot, and being able to tune out some of that crowd noise are surely going to be some factors in a Tennessee upset win over the Auburn Tigers. To start, Felix Akpar has put together a phenomenal stretch here inside SEC play when it comes to his ability to defend. Of course, we see it most when he's close to the rim and he's getting those blocks or deflections, especially when it comes to getting those defensive rebounds, where we saw a lot of that against Mississippi State. He had a season-high 12 rebounds total against the Bulldogs, but in the first half, he led the team with 5 defensive rebounds. He'd end with 9 on the night. His ability to protect the rim that way is going to be massive when you're going up against an Auburn team that can really spread the floor. I mean, it's one of the things he says that he came here to Tennessee to do.
I said this when I first got here. I love playing defense. Love doing the rebounding and blocking shots. That's my game. And I know the team needs that. So I'm gonna come out 100% every game.
What they'll also need is more shooters on offense. Of course, we've seen Jemiah Mashack really develop his skill set on offense. I mean, even take example again from Mississippi State, the 2 corner threes that he had in Tennessee. Again, I've mentioned it a number of times, only averages 3 of them. The other player that got the 3rd corner 3 for Tennessee against Mississippi State was Igor Milicic. We've seen a number of times here inside SEC play where he starts out strong. He knocks down his first or second 3-pointer, really kind of at ease, and then that really just disappears for the rest of the game. Tennessee's almost kind of desperate or in desperate need of more shooters on the court. It really just can't all be, Chaz Lanier or Zakai Ziegler really just driving up and having a nice layup. But again, we're seeing Jemiah Mashack really develop there, and that's been really crucial for Tennessee in these late games. But Igor Milicic regaining his level of efficiency and production will be massive for Tennessee. Now, Rick Barnes says he's not worried about Igor. He knows that he's an elite shooter, but it's just a different type of game that they're playing here inside the SEC that Igor is still kind of trying to catch up on a little bit. But if Igor can be efficient, maybe knock down a 3rd 3-pointer or get another easy bucket in the paint earlier in the game, maybe that too, similar to Chaz Lanier, will feed the confidence later in the game. But that's definitely something they'll need against the Tigers.
Structure a little bit, and the way we play, it's a lot of read, react, and so he's learning to do all that. But he's impacted a lot of games with his rebounding already. But we just need him to, and we know that he can shoot the ball. There's no question in our mind with that. But we need him to, we're trying to get him more involved to do a lot more for us on the offensive end.
Tennessee will also need to be prepared for a loud environment. I'm sure a lot of us remember post-game after that Vanderbilt game, hearing Igor Milicic say that, they really weren't expecting Vanderbilt to be this loud despite practicing their communication style in preparation of a loud arena. He says, we really just didn't expect it. Maybe we need to lean in and trust what our coaches are saying a little bit more, but that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still hard to focus and execute when you're hearing thousands of fans yelling at you when you're trying to set something up on offense. But that led to a lot of their breakdown on defense, to a lot of their mental lapses on offense, where we saw a number of bad turnovers on offense, a couple of them from Zakai Ziegler, and Rick Barnes describing those as lifelines. There is no defense for open court turnovers, and that's exactly what happened against Vanderbilt. Auburn will certainly try to recreate a similar environment that really disrupted Tennessee. And Rick Barnes says that it all really comes down to their focus. If they are focused in their preparation, they will be able to execute once they get to Auburn. And hopefully they'll be able to do that against Auburn, where I'll be covering the game. I'll also have a post-game report. So make sure you subscribe and like this episode so you don't miss out on that coverage. Now to the thing that Rick Barnes describes as the greatest blessing in his life, and that's when he became a parent. He has 2 children, a daughter named Carly and a son named Nick, and he described what it was like becoming a first-time parent and how maybe he's relaying some of that wisdom onto Lady Vols head coach Kim Caldwell and her husband Justin, who's on the Tennessee staff, as they just welcomed in their first child, Connor Scott Caldwell. And he mentioned that it really is just one of the greatest blessings, and he said that Justin, the husband to Kim, still came into practice with the beam the next day.
Unbelievable. It's one of the greatest gifts ever when God blesses you with a child, and now being a grandfather, I can tell you being a grandparent is not overrated. It's unbelievable. But when God blesses someone with a child, and I mean, he came in last night, he had a beam on his face. He really did, and it was neat because I can imagine. My daughter was born on the day of my very first conference game as a head coach, and I can remember going to the game, but so excited to get back, and I can remember sitting there holding her for 2.5 hours from midnight till 2 in the morning until she had to go back to her mom to feed, and I can just remember the glow on her face, and I didn't want to let her go, and I'm sure he feels like that right now too. And the same was true of my son, obviously, but the fact that I asked Kim one day, I said, who would plan on having a baby in the middle of January? Knowing that my daughter was born on the 9th of January, but I didn't have to deliver it, thank goodness.
And I've asked a number of former Lady Vols how becoming a mother changed them as a coach, and that's kind of what I was asking Rick Barnes there, how he becoming a dad changed him as a coach, and I have a lot more on what he had to say about that over on fulldisclosurepro.com. I'll leave that in the comments or in the description so you guys can have an easy link to that as well. I'll also have an interview with Joan Cronin coming up as well. I believe I'll air that on Sunday, so again, please subscribe so you don't miss out on any of it, and I will be back Saturday for a post-game report following the Tennessee-Auburn match.